Hello, chemistry kids. Here we go. Next part. We've done a bunch of calculations in class, and we did a couple on the lecture of how to do, goes from moles to grams, grams to moles in a chemical reaction. Now we're going to talk about limiting and excess reactants and how those kind of tie into this whole deal. It's all same calculations, all right? We just have to apply them in a different way, okay? Nothing too crazy, but it is more work. So we'll talk about that. So the first thing you need to realize is that the limiting reactant is the one that produces the least, and the excess reactant is the one that produces the most. So in these type of problems, when they ask you for limiting or excess reactants, they're going to give you two givens, okay, or two knowns, and you have to convert them to the same product or whatever they want you to find, and whichever one produces the least, that'll be your answer. All right. So let's do this first one kind of as a trial, see how we do. So this is how many moles of ACl3, aluminum chloride, will be created if 13.2 moles of AlOH3 reacts with 23 moles of HCl. What's the limiting? What's the excess? So the first thing we got to figure out is what's our given. So we have two givens. We have 13.2 moles of AlOH3 and 23 moles of HCl. But we're trying to find this for both of them. So let's write down our givens first. Oh, sorry. Is our equation balanced? And the answer is no, it's not. Bummer. So if you notice, aluminums are good. And then the OH3s, remember, think of water as HOH. All right? Sometimes it's easier to balance that way. So you have three OHs. Here I only have one OH and one H. I have three chlorines and so on and so forth. So the best thing to do would be put a 3 in front of this, and then we put a 3 in front of that. Let's see what we got. Now we got aluminums are good, chlorines are good, 3 OHs, 3 OHs, 3 H's, 3 H's. Now we're balanced. All right? Now we got a balanced reaction. Now we can write down our givens. So 13.2 moles of AlOH3, and then we have 23 moles of HCl. All right, so we wrote down our givens first. Now, we're using the same calculations we did in the last lecture, or the last part of it. Using this bugger right here, all right? Using this, it helps you plan it out how it's got to work out. So what are we starting with? Well, we're not starting with grams, we're not starting with liters, we're not starting with atoms or moles. We're starting with moles. So we can just go straight to our mole-to-mole ratio and should be good. All right? So this first one, we want to do straight to our, because we're starting with moles, we want to have our moles of our starting on the bottom. And this one's going to be moles of HCl. But we're going to the same moles. We're going to moles of, what are we going to? AlCl3. Whoops, AlCl3. Moles of AlCl3. All right. So then we just look up our equation. What's our mole-to-mole ratio? Well, here's AlOH, and here's AlCl3. Well, it's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 to 1. Easy calculation for that one. All right. You don't got to do anything. You just got to do 13.2 moles of AlCl3. That was an easy calculation. We can do that. And then we got to do our mole-to-mole ratio from HCl to AlCl3, and it's a 3-to-1 ratio. The 3 goes with the HCl, and the 1 goes with the AlCl3. So now you go 23 divided by 3, and that'll give you 7.66666667, I think, something like that. And notice how our moles cancels out. Doop, doop. And we have moles of AlCl3. All right, now, here's what we do. We look at these answers. Well, which one's the lesser amount? Boom. This one's the lesser amount. What produced it? The HCl. So what's our limiting reactant? Limiting reactant is the HCl because it limited how much you produced. Okay, produced a lesser amount. What's our excess reactant? In other words, which one produced the most? Well, here's our most. Which produced it? AlOH3. There you go. So that's how we figure out limiting. That's how we figure out excess. The lesser amount is the limiting. The one that produced it is the limiting. The one that produced the greater amount is the excess. All right, I'm going to pause the video, and you guys should try the second one by yourselves. If you get stuck, then just start the video, okay? I'll walk you through it. All right, hopefully you had a chance to go through it. We'll see how you guys did. So when you read this problem, the first thing you say is, what am I given and what am I trying to find? Well, I'm given 47.4 moles of Fe2O3 and 170.3 moles of CO. What am I trying to find? I'm trying to find moles of Fe, so they're both going to moles of Fe. All right, so first thing you need to do is make sure you have a balanced equation, and it should look like this. You should have a 1, 3, 2, 3 coefficients. All right, and it should all balance out. And then once you have that, then you can write down your givens. So what are my givens? Well, here we go. 47.4 moles of Fe2O3 and 170.3 moles of CO. All right, and then looking at my mole map here, I'm starting with moles. Now I just got to find moles. Got to do with my mole-to-mole ratio. So using your balanced equation, what's my mole-to-mole ratio from Fe2, and we're trying to find to Fe. So here we have a 2-to-1 ratio. Okay, everyone see it? 2 to 1. And here we have, whoops. Here we have a 2 to 3 ratio, 2 to 3 ratio. So this times 2, this times 2 divided by 3. What do we get for answers? We should have got these for answers. All right. Now if we notice, this one produces the least, this one produces the most. Therefore, the one that produces the least, this is my limiting reactant. This produced the most, this is my excess reactant. And there you go. Now, if they went further and said how much did they produce, or how much did the limiting reactant produce, then you have to do this one more step. You have to convert this to grams, or this to grams. All right. So that would just be a normal calculation that we've done. It's just an extra step. All right. So realize limiting produces the least, whereas excess produces the most. All right. Hope these calculations helped. Stop in for questions if you have any more.